Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is January 23rd, 2018, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the economic events of this morning, out of Japan, we had a monetary policy that's surely to affect the yen. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. That was a 5:14 South African time. And then at 8:30 South African time, we have a press conference coming out of Japan in relations to the monetary policy. But let's see what's been happening in the markets outside of the yen. So we're taking a look here at the Euro USD, and as you can see, we're at the upper limit here. If we look at a daily, we broke out higher, all-time highs of the year, 123. Okay, we just hit it and then we sold off. So we look like we're creating ourselves a nice wedge formation, which should give us some sort of correction, either on the upside or the downside. Okay, so that is giving you an indication that there's going to be some sort of move that's going to either be correcting itself here or breaking out. Okay, now it's a little bit harder to say because we're making these lower highs here, as you can see, but as you can see, we are forming this wedge. Okay, if we could just highlight it with a pen, that's the upper wedge, that's the lower wedge, and that's usually an indication of some sort of breakout, either on the upside or the downside. Now, I know that doesn't help, but okay, because you don't know which direction it's going to go. However, when it does form around a breakout, it could be a correctional move, especially because we've, hit this 123 several times, 3 times here, and haven't broken out. So keep an eye on the downside if you are long, okay? So you might want to, take off some of your position here, but if you are, getting yourself short, just ease into the position. Don't jump into it just so aggressively, okay? Because, this has been very strong. The Dow Jones is still going up, which is, depreciating the value of the dollar, okay? But there's a certain limit to how much that depreciation is going to play itself out, okay? As we look at the GBP USD, you'll see that we're breaking out higher, all-time highs, 139.85, and not retracing, okay? We broke above this 138-ish level, and we spoke about this last week, that this was a resistance level, and sure enough, we're about 100 pips above that, okay? So the with the altercations and the ramifications of Brexit, with the USD, depreciating, this is forcing the GBP up, okay? And now we could finally even maybe get ourselves into the 140 level, maybe low 140s, as the quarter continues, okay? Looking at the USD ZAR, trading at 1209, and we mentioned this last week that it was just breaking down here. Let's look at it on a daily chart. That's a little bit better. And you saw that we were forming this downtrend, and really a lot of weakness at this 1225, and so couldn't sustain it when we finally broke below it. Okay, so that means that the next pivot stop, the next support level, let's say, okay, let's bring that up, would be somewhere in the 1172-ish level. Okay, so this is this is historical, this is monumental, this is the rand getting stronger. It's just indicative of the South African economy getting stronger, and we'll jump into the JAC in just a moment, but that's just indicative of what's been going on. Looking at the USD Japanese yen, we're bouncing off this 110 level. Okay, so we've mentioned this a couple of times that we've been trading between this 114-ish level several times. Let's highlight that for a second. We've had, multiple times that we've had this upper limit being challenged, okay? And then we got ourselves into a little bit of a, tighter range, and then finally breaking it below, but not breaking this 110 level, okay? So this 110 level is important. Now, if we do continue breaking above this 111-ish level, we could see ourselves getting back to the 112-ish level and continuing this trading range between 114 and 110. However, if this does falter and we do break lower, we could even see ourselves going to 108. So I'd like to see that and how that plays out. The Nikkei, the Nikkei is very strong. The Dow is very strong. So there's a little bit of a pull and chug, so to speak, between the two currencies, between the USD and the Japanese yen. Looking at oil, okay, oil's been breaking out higher, $64 a barrel, just at this range, okay, as the inventory numbers, weekly inventory numbers come up this week. Let's see if we do see this continuation on the upper side, trading between 63.25 and 64.75-ish level. Okay, so lots to say about it. Okay, the trend is still upwards. We kept on saying 64, 65 when we were in the 50s range, that we had that target, and we're meeting that. So the concern is whether or not we're going to continue going up into the 70s level. Okay, that's something that we'd have to take a look at. Looking at the Dow Jones, all-time highs. Okay, attributed to the Senate coming out and coming to some sort of terms with the government shutdown in the United States, and all that stuff. Okay, but the markets have been strong. Okay, so all this is happening in conjunction with some of this outside news, but it's breaking out higher. We've been saying this for all the time. Okay, 26,280. We're sitting at all-time highs. Let's say if we do get that continuation in the afternoon as the futures continue trading up higher. Now, the DAX finally woke up here, 13,500, and we're right here at resistance. Okay, so this is a really pivotal moment for the DAX to see if it's going to break out higher and finally show us that it's got some strength, and the European market is actually continuing with its stronger side. Okay, so this is something you got to keep an eye out as this week progresses. Looking at the Nikkei as well, all-time highs. So as we said, the equities markets have been consistent with each other and breaking out higher. We're looking at a weekly chart just to give you a perspective of where we're trading. This is a monthly chart, so literally all-time highs. There's nothing I could say here to make it better. Okay, there's no pullbacks, there's no point of contention where you could say, okay, now I'm going to jump in. It's always scary when we're breaking out higher because you think you got the top, but as you can see, there's follow through. The markets are strong and they're pulling everything up higher. Looking at the GSC as well, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, we're trading at 54,911, very close to our all-time highs of 55,500-ish level. Okay, and we're almost there. Okay, so this is something also I'd like to see some continuation, some upwards momentum. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.